Welcome to 23 Degrees Sideways. Do you see that sign? It's a violation of rights. It's a violation of the right for you to use your addiction to inflict others with whatever, secondhand smoke, secondhand vape. It's funny to me, I've been having this argument in libertarian circles since the 80s. The idea that smoking and then vaping, more recently vaping, is a right, and that a no smoking zone in a public place is a violation of rights. It takes on religious aspects. For years and years, for well over 2 decades, the idea of secondhand smoke, of blowing smoke in my face, someone blowing smoke in my face was not harmful, not a violation of my rights, okay? Because there was a right to smoke. And it's a totalitarian statist violation. Now, I grew up with a different libertarianism. We weren't completely... Lately, I've taken to calling it fuck you libertarianism, which is kind of a... It's mean, it's a joke, but it's got mean aspects. However, I know some ANCAPs who are really honestly decent people who don't really think that anarcho-capitalism is about fucking people over. And I'm using the bad language on this video, and I'm sorry, but it's just where it's going to go. But the 2000s, 2010s, 2020s is the era of fuck you libertarianism. It's changed. You know, we used to talk about fair and unfair taxation because we agreed that there was a social contract, and that if you engaged in that social contract, protections of commerce, protections for the free market, then there were some taxes that you could pay. But now all taxation is theft, period. Dot. Fuck you, Jack, I got mine. Well, the conversation has changed a little bit. Let's get back to smoking for a moment. I have been dealing for decades with libertarians, so-called libertarians, using libertarianism as a reason to justify their addiction and their infliction of their addiction on others. Nicotine is addictive. We don't really have any argument about that. It's pretty well known. We're pretty confident of that. We now know that secondhand smoke really is a big deal. Of course, the defense back in the 80s and 90s was that there was no good research. You couldn't prove that me blowing smoke in your face hurt you. Didn't matter if you didn't like it, it's my right to do it. You see the breakdown in the logic right there, just by the illustration that it's my right to inflict it on you is a justification. We're dealing with addictions here. This isn't really about libertarianism or my various insider-outsider critiques of libertarianism. It's about addiction. Lately, vaping is under attack, and the basic defense of vaping is that you can't prove that it hurts you. I need proof. You know, I don't care to walk into a building that is so full of aerosolized glycerin or propylene glycol that I can't see the end of the bar. Thank you, no. It's not your right to do that. No. You don't get to blow clouds of it into my face. I don't care what scent, artificial flavors you put into it. It's still, no. I want to breathe the air I want to breathe, not the air that you want me to breathe. This isn't really that hard, but addictions are funny things, and they really mess with your head and how you reason. Sugar addictions, caffeine addictions, nicotine addictions, alcohol addictions, these are probably the biggest ones right now. There's also a behavioral marijuana addiction. But these are the biggest ones right now, and people justify these things all sorts of ways, okay? You can't have a realistic diet discussion in general in the Americas because of sugar addictions. Okay, you can't even, you just can't. You can't really get away from it. It's a part of things. For or against, okay? I'm on the against side. I'm heavily on the side of maybe we need actual government involvement to get the sugar out of the fucking kids' food, because I walk down the aisle. I gotta do a video on this. I walk down the aisle. There is Oreo, and Snickers breakfast cereal. And you're just like, wow. I don't know what brand of libertarianism you follow, my friend, but there's something kind of wrong with that. That's, you're not marketing to free agents at that point. And you're not marketing food at that point either. Anyway, nicotine addiction is a big one. It's always been a big one in the libertarian community because there's a lot of smokers. And defending that smoking, defending that right to pollute your own body is a big deal. And, there's an element to that where, yeah, you have the right to freely care for or abuse your body, but free. There's a concept there that a lot of libertarians don't like to get into, and that's free. Are you actually free? How much freedom is removed by an addiction? How much of that addiction is your choice, and how much of that addiction is the choice of a marketer or a salesman? Addiction's a big deal, man. It robs you of your freedom. And, nicotine's a big deal. So's sugar. So's alcohol. So's caffeine. These are all very addictive substances. You have to ask yourself, in a very real sense, how much of your agency, how much of your liberty are you giving away to those addictive substances? And as a follow-on to that, okay, if you can figure the answer out to that question, I don't have an answer for you. How much does that lack of agency influence your reasoning or beliefs about liberty? Okay? I'm going to tell you right now, anyone who defends their right to blow smoke in my face or vape in my face is someone who I don't think is thinking with a clear head and completely free agency. I think there's an addiction doing some of the thinking for you. Think about it, because this is a very thinky video. Stay sideways, and have a good one.